That's a great idea. So,
Hey.
hey,
Hello.
hello.
You leave? Hello.
So far.
It's been a long time. I'm good.
I love your hair.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
Yeah, I tried.
I was gonna say you dyed it.
Because like I used to like kind of just like light, and I don't use like put on the water, but I just use overtone, which is like a color vomiting to
Yeah.
I feel like I used that instead of like a bunch of powder.
Yeah. I think maybe I used something else, but it's like for a week I'd take a shower and then it would just get dye all over me. So it does that. Okay. But whatever.
Mostly like mostly installed, like feeling things up.
Hi, everybody.
There's people out there.
I know. And Tom 96086.
Oh, that's his, Northwest MLS number.
Oh, that's a good way to remember it. It's just have it in your thing every day. So smart dude. Well, hi everybody. I feel like Halloween happened and then everybody maybe just hasn't transitioned back from Halloween. We used to have our big group in the office.
Are you saying we're dressed?
No, I'm saying everybody just ran away from the office after Halloween. I don't know where everybody is. They're being Zoom people.
Still looks scary.
Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We do not have a Lois today, because her, Seth, and Estella are at the Wenatchee Valley College Career Day Expo.
They have a good
thing.
set up. They're supposed to send us a picture to add.
I got pictures.
Oh, you did?
I got 4 pictures.
Okay, awesome.
So yeah, it's a nice setup. So, and they have a little raffle thing going, and yeah, it looks pretty sweet. So we'll get to that soonish. But we have a Luke and a Sydney today that can say some words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to just do it from here?
Depends on if Sydney also wants her face in the video. So if she's fine with that, I'm gonna turn around so people can see your face. So I'll leave that up to Sydney and Marcia.
Just make sure they can hear you.
Yeah, so Lois asked me to go over these 6 myths and a truth in real estate this morning since she couldn't be here. You know, I was reading over these things and they're so important to remember and look back on repeatedly. There's so often we have these myths and lies that we tell ourselves that just aren't true, and it affects how we do our business, go about our daily lives, our motivation. So I think it's really important to just, you know, if there's specific myths that you feel continually plague you, write those things down, look at them every day. Remind yourself that these things that we tell ourselves are not true. So anyway, here's 6 myths. I'll just go through them real quick that pertain to real estate specifically. So number 1, I can't do it. Well, until you try, you can't possibly know what you can or can't do. We've heard that a million times, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And most of the time, you're going to surprise yourself. Number 2, it can't be done in my market. Yes, it can, but you may need a new approach. So often we think what can't be done, you know, we can't do it, but sometimes you just have to look at the problem a little bit differently and think of a new approach to solve that problem. And if anybody else has anything to add to these or a comment, please feel free to speak up.
It's true that they're myths.
Yes.
True stuff.
Myth number 3, it would take too much time and effort. I would lose my freedom. The truth is, time and effort are not the deciding factors in success. There are so many factors in success, and time and effort aren't always the leading factors to success. We all know that a lot of times we can waste our time and effort. So be diligent and really consider, what is your time and effort going towards, and are those deciding factors for the success? Because sometimes we're just on that train of doing whatever we've always done. We're a creature of habit. And sometimes those aren't always the deciding factors for success. Number 4, the myth of it's too risky, I lose my money. Well, the truth is, risk is in direct proportion to how well you hold your incremental costs accountable to producing incremental results. I guess with that one, if you want results, results have a cost, and often one of those costs is risks. I've made a lot of risks and lost out, so to speak, on a lot of them, but sometimes it's the overall success you have. Sometimes you have a lot of little losses, but you also have a lot of wins within those losses, and that you know, eventually leads up to the big win overall.
And there's stuff that doesn't cost money. Like Rebecca said in her business planning clinic, she's like, I didn't have the right to spend money yet. Like, there were so many things I could do for free. Then once I'm at that point, so yeah, there's free risks. You just got to get past that little.
Yeah, it's just a time risk at that point, not a money risk.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, risk is inevitable.
Mhm.
We have to take risk to get results. Let's see, number 5, my clients will only work with me. Only I can deliver quality service. Well, the truth is, often your clients aren't loyal to you, but they're loyal to the standards you represent. They're loyal to the service that they can expect from you. I think that's a really important one to remember. Let's see. Myth number 6, having a goal and not fully realizing it is a negative thing. Well, in reality, having a goal and not trying to achieve it is a negative thing. We all have goals that we don't fully realize. We don't, get the results that we're hoping for, but that's what a goal is. It's trying your best. It's putting in the effort towards a certain success that you want to have.
Yeah. Another business planning clinic thing.
Yeah,
Big
that was a
Rebecca
good
Del Pozo.
Yeah.
Lois has me pronouncing it wrong now.
So I think it's just important to like continually remind ourselves of these things. And a simple way that I do this a lot is I listen to those cheesy YouTube videos, sometimes in the morning on my drive to wherever I'm going, that just remind you of these very basic myths and lies that we tell ourselves that we fall victim for. And so often, if you get yourself into the mindset of, you know what, maybe I need to look at this a little bit differently, it'll really serve you. Anybody have anything else about those?
I believe these were pulled from the MREA book, I believe is what Lois
Yes.
was saying,
Yeah.
and they do have a podcast now. So if you just type in MREA, they have, I think, 2 or 3 episodes. And the last one was mainly just Gary Keller talking about things, which is always lovely. So-
Also, if you're into the podcast along these lines, Bruce Hardy, the Northwest region, he does that, he has a podcast. I forget what it's called, Keeping Things Real or something like that. But it's just once a week and it's only 30 minutes and he interviews like somebody from the Northwest region, so Alaska, Washington, Oregon,
Oh, nice.
and like kind of goes through like their whole like life as a realtor. So you can like hear, cause like a lot of times it's like these really big agents like in California and stuff, like I don't know how that applies to my business, but like somebody from a small town in Idaho, like those are some good ideas that I want to replicate.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's kind of fun.
If you send that to me, I can put it in the notes.
Okay.
If you remember the name, that would be sweet. Okay. So do you guys want to keep chilling there? Do you want to come back in? Do you want to whatever?
No, that's
Oh,
good
okay.
for now.
Okay.
So who has not heard about the NAR Stitcher lawsuit on Zoom or in person? Everybody heard about it? Anybody not heard about this thing? No? Okay, yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Annette has not heard about it. Okay. So Annette, being new, you know, probably don't know a lot about like real estate news and stuff, but that's cool. You're getting up to speed now. So it was decided really quickly and basically like the decision was that things have been unfair. You know, the NAR, you know, is forcing people to join and it's creating an anti-competitive restraint that let me find this one. Seller brokers presenting blanket commissions to buyer brokers is plausibly creating a skewed compensation structure, leading to inflated commissions that would otherwise be lower in more competitive market environments. So this was really, you know, a big, you know, thing that's going to be changing the way people are thinking about real estate and fundamentally changing buyer agents' commission. And this is something we've been talking about for a long time, right? Get your, you know, your value proposition in order, get used to using buyer agency agreements, those sort of things. But now that this lawsuit has happened and it's out on the news, you know, clients are asking questions. I don't know about you guys, but I've had people reach out and say, what do you think of this? And some people might even get like, oh, am I going to get a refund? You know, for when I sold my house last year, blah, blah, blah. So I think many of you guys know that I'm a 72 sold certified agent and I'm on this guy's calls like 4 hours a week. And he just had a really good talking points about how to talk to your clients about the lawsuit and, that we need to be on the side of consumers. Anybody who's backing NAR and saying, yeah, like traditional is best, like we need to just appeal, like what we've been doing is working, screw the consumer, that's not gonna get us far. Like we have to be consumer centric, like, okay, the consumers have spoken. We need to find a way to maintain profitability and serve the consumer as best we can. So if you want to play that video, he just has some really good talking points, and then we can have a little bit of a discussion about that and what it's going to look like around here in our industry.
So I'm going to unshare and share again, because I think it's gonna get mad at me. Yep, it's gonna get mad. So hold on one momento. And don't laugh at me. And we'll see if you guys, can you see this team call November 3rd? Well, now my view of you guys is gone, so I can't see you. Hold on. Thumbs up if you can see the thingy.
Monica's got thumbs up.
Great. I don't know why you guys
And
disappear
if we
every
listen
time.
to maybe, like 7 to 10 minutes of this, I think it'll really have some good talking points, and then we can.
Yeah, just give me a
circle on
little,
discussion.
give me a little, stop playing that little signal. Okay.
Where'd the play button go?
Where did the play button go? There it is.
Yeah, that's
You
good.
must have read about what happened in Missouri.
Oh, okay, I think you need,
if-
3250, not 3350.
What would I do without you?
Yeah, about right there is good.
If you didn't,
Hold on there. Hold on, everybody.
so just to start getting you prepared, the biggest prep was to understand which side of the fence you're on, and then presuming you're on the side that I'm on and 72 Sold's on, which is the consumer side of the fence. Now, let's be a little more specific about how to handle some of the questions you're likely to incur. So you have a past home selling client who asks you, sees the news and says, well, when am I going to get my refund? I remember you sold my home and I think there was a buyer agent involved, and I went and looked at my closing statement and that was $12,800, and I was wondering how soon I'm going to get the check in the mail. So your answer there should be, in my opinion, something like this. Oh, so you must have read about what happened in Missouri. If you didn't read the specifics, this was a Missouri case, and it was on behalf of a group of Missouri home sellers who questioned, so, kind of a soft word. You don't have to, use any really hard-edged words here. Who questioned, which is true, the way that commissions are charged and paid, and specifically questioned whether it's fair that sellers pay one commission that also compensates a buyer agent when there's one involved in the sale. And the jury decided that that was not fair, and that sellers who had compensated buyer agents, that it would have been fairer if the buyer had compensated their own agent, and that had not been kind of a charge or a cost to the seller. Now, that was a Missouri case, and if you're in Missouri, you will at some point likely get a notification that you're part of the class if you sold a home and paid a buyer agent commission anytime. I think that goes back to 2017. If you're in that group, you'll get a notification from the court, or actually the class action attorneys. They're the ones that actually notify the class as to what the refund looks like and how to apply for it. That particular case, though, was a Missouri case, and we're right now looking to see what's going to happen nationally, and then whatever state you're in, here in Arizona, here in Ohio, here in Idaho. But I'll tell you what, as it develops, how about I put you down and I'll keep you informed, because believe me, if there's a refund of the buyer agent commission you paid, I want to make sure you get it. I want to make sure you get it, and I'll watch it, and I'll put your name down on a list of many of my past home sellers who I also want to make sure they get it should that come about. That should be your positioning there. And by the way, genuine. You do put them on a list and we'll see what happens, right? These other cases are national in scope, and so there may be a refund to those people. All right, so how about a current client asks you to offer no buyer agent commission in MLS? In my view, hey, you work for the client. You should explain to them that probably buyer agents in the market still are used to receiving a commission, and that this could, even as wrong as it may be, that a buyer agent would steer a buyer away from your home because they need to call me to talk about commission rather than seeing it in MLS. That could happen. I don't know. You don't know. They shouldn't, but they might. But the bottom line is, if you want me to put in $0 or $1 or whatever my MLS allows, and then put a note in private comments to contact me regarding any buyer agent commission, I will certainly do that. If they ask you to do it, you need to do it, but you just need to explain to them the impact of doing that, what that could mean. Then if you do it, I suggest you put in private comments. At this point, you probably haven't thought through what like a buyer agent offering might be. If it's offered individually, maybe it's a lower fee for a lower price, a higher fee for a higher price. I really haven't had time to get my arms around what structures like that might look like. So all I'd really say is that if you really, at this point, if it's something, if your buyer likes the house and you make an offer, then as part of the offer, and it'll depend on however that needs to be done in your state, but as part of the offer, a buyer can say anything they want. A buyer can put anything they want in a purchase offer. Nobody can ever stop a buyer from putting something in a purchase offer. So bottom line is just figure out what you think's fair and just make that part of the deal. Now, I know there's a lot of rules relating to that right now. Be assured those rules are going to change. But right now, you really have no alternative other than to just tell the buyer agent, if you're not going to be compensated by the buyer and you want the seller to pay all or some part of that, just make that part of the negotiation. But why don't you first see if your buyer likes the house and how much they're willing to pay? That's really where I would be on that right now. And then unrelated people ask you all about it. What's that all about, et cetera. And of course, I would just do the same talk tracks I did with respect to Missouri. This happened in Missouri. It's very likely to have nationwide impact. It's very likely that buyers will be paying their own agent and that sellers will be paying their own agent. So real quickly, before I bring Sarah on, a few things. Does your MLS allow you to offer $0, or do you still have to offer $1, et cetera? Here in the local MLS, it is one of the NAR affiliated MLSs. As of at least yesterday, I was told that you still have to put a monetary amount in, which means, I guess, $1. I'm sure that's going to change very quickly. Do any of your state licensing rules prohibit negotiating a buyer agent commission as part of the purchase price? Take a look at your state rules, et cetera, and see if they have spoken on this issue. Again, these are rules that are very likely to change if there are such rules, but you don't want to violate them now. So you're kind of between a rock and a hard place. If your client wants you to do it, you need to do it. Offer $0 or $1 or the least you can. If they want you to do it, as long as you've explained to them, the impact of, that might reduce showings. You still need to do it, but then what do you say to a buyer agent? So you just want to get to know what your state rules are now, knowing that they're likely to change if they have rules. And then does your MLS or any other organizational bodies or your broker have rules that would relate to the buyer agent actually negotiating their commission as part of the deal if they want the seller to pay it? So you want to look at that and understand that. Now, really the rule that matters are your state licensing rules. Those are the ones you just follow by the letter. Everybody else you talk to, including your broker, because, if it just comes down to brokerages still having their head in the stand and not understanding what's happening, then, well, you need to enlighten them. But your state licensing rules, those are sacrosanct. You follow those to the letter.
So I think I'd like to start by saying that our MLS is so ahead of
Yes.
the ball on this, you know, because we're not an NAR owned MLS. We've been able to make changes like the MLS has. So, you know, you guys have all seen the purchase and sale update, the commission section, pay as offered or other. So we actually have a really easy spot in our purchase agreements to negotiate on that buyer's agency commission. So any other thought or conversation? Has anybody had their clients reach out about this? Nobody?
Are you still gonna proceed as normal at a listing appointment and try to go for the 6%?
You know,
Unless they bring it up?
I probably will. I think I'll probably bring it to their attention because I wouldn't want for them to sign it and then hear about this later and be like, why didn't you tell me about this? So if they, you know, so this is still what's standard in our area. You know, there was this, you know, case in Missouri that is going to be changing things nationwide. And I want to show you here on our listing agreement. So this is what you're paying me and this is what you're offering for compensation to your buyer's agent. Both of these are completely negotiable independently. You don't have to offer anything to them. I obviously need to get paid, you know, so like, I'm not gonna do this for free. Like I have my minimums, but what you offer the buyer's agents, that's up to you. The lower you do that, maybe the less showings you'll have, you know, because the buyer's agent is also financially motivated to do that. You know, they do have the opportunity to negotiate that on the purchase side. But if it's just clear cut, they know they're gonna get 2.5%. It's gonna be a lot easier for them to sell that to their client than if they don't know what their payment is gonna be. So I would have that conversation pretty upfront, because I don't want a client to feel like I didn't fully inform them on the situation.
I think it's great.
And Ashley, next week, in contract class, we're gonna go over value propositions.
Awesome.
And so one of the things that I'm gonna have, an email sent out is that you think about when you're sitting down with your client, if it's listing or if they're buyers, what are the three main things that you're selling about yourself, your value proposition? I started working on that this week and Russ will be our special guest next week, either by Zoom or physically, but we want to really go through that so everybody feels very comfortable, and we need the experience of the senior brokers. So if you can make it, it would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And yes, Monica, I agree. Great advice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
that was
we're
a
talking about.
great video.
And I think like the basic thing to understand, like there's a lot of big words and confusing things with that. The
Mhm.
basic thing is that the consumers agreed sellers should be paying their agent and buyers should be paying their agent, whether it's closing costs or whatever, but the consumers are sick of the sellers being obligated to pay for the buyer's agent.
Mhm.
I think that's like the main bullet point to take away.
It's just never been an actual obligation. It's always been negotiable,
Mhm.
Not with NAR owned MLSs.
even ours, because I thought that was the whole
In
thing.
Flex,
Yeah.
so it went through a few iterations, but when I first started, like, there was like a minimum, and then it was like, you had to offer like at least $1 or something like that. But like, they always, yeah, the NAR, was strict about the clear cooperation and all those things that, consumers are saying did, affect
That's the issue.
anti-competitiveness and stuff like that, yeah.
It's good to know the history of it, because yeah, I didn't realize.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah,
thought
and that's a
it's
good thing
always-
to be saying to our clients too. You know, Washington State, we've really been, you know, ahead of the curve on that. We've seen this coming for a long time and have adjusted before any of these lawsuits came. So we've actually been doing it differently
There's a lot of
for
states that are
about a
looking at
year
our
and a half,
MLS,
you know?
and keep taking like guidance from what we've already done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
It's good.
Was there any chat on Zoom?
Just Michael saying, yeah, he's dealt with that a lot when it comes to for sale by owner or family purchases. Yeah, the commission part.
Great.
Any other comments from Zoomers? Besides just
Yeah.
that was wonderful, good stuff.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I meant by that is the way we've handled it, and you guys might have different strategies too, but since this is kind of new, we've always handled it where if somebody really truly does not want to use a realtor, they're going to go for sale by owner. Then typically with the commission, if the seller's fine with the buyer being represented, because we're never going to tell someone I'm always going to recommend a realtor, even if it's a realtor that's willing to just look over the contract and not necessarily take a full 3% commission. But just being protected, because we've had family members go through these purchases and they end up hating each other by the end of it, because no one was involved and they didn't have that kind of mediator that a realtor provides, and the experience and the liability of not having one. So we always say, you know what, it's worth it if you want to stack the commission on top of the purchase price. Obviously, it has to appraise. Usually it's not a problem. We've never had it be a problem. So typically that's how it's handled, is we just stack it into the price, whether it's that and closing costs, and then boom, the seller or the realtor gets their commission and everyone's happy. The seller's not, they're able to net what they want. So we've done a fair bit of those. I mean, I don't know how else you would do it unless the buyer just wants to straight up pay for it out of pocket. Otherwise, there's a couple things that you can try and do so that if someone is really tight on cash, like down payment assistance or something like that, there is some strategies that you can utilize to at least try to get some or all of it covered.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Since you kind of do you want to kind of go into your little mortgage minute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for my location. I'm in Oregon right now at a conference, but I wanted to step out and at least be in this.
Oh,
Of course, you're my favorite. No, I'm just
I was waiting for it. Love that. I'm blushing. Now we're both blushing. Love that. Okay, go on.
So I'll keep it short and sweet. Come the 18th of November is when you are officially allowed to purchase a multifamily property with less than 15% down on conventional products only. You can still buy any of the 2, 3, or 4 unit properties on FHA with minimum down. But this is a big change for a lot of people. It's always been 15% down with owner occupied only. You have to move into it for 2, 3, or 4 unit properties. So the 18th is when Fannie and Freddie are officially allowing borrowers to move forward with purchasing those properties with less than 15% down. If it's an investment property, then you always have to put 25% down regardless on a multifamily property. So that's big news. I think we're going to see a lot more offers and potentially values on duplexes and triplexes and quadplexes maybe increase a little bit with now more people can get into the game. Sometimes with FHA, they can be hard to qualify on triplexes and quadplexes specifically because they have to test or they have to pass what's called it's a self-sufficiency test. So they really have to be able to be self-sufficient as far as the rent coming in. There's a formula and a test that's done. So this will open up a lot of options for a lot of buyers to get in, not having to worry about that test because conventional doesn't have it. So remember, November 18th, that's when the game changes as far as multifamily. And then if you didn't notice, rates have come down a little bit, which is awesome, actually about a half a point or more. And that was because we got some not so great news on job reports and the economy, but what that in turn does is help lower interest rates. So if you have people shopping right now, they got quite a break on interest rates, so it helps with affordability. I noticed my phone kind of picked up a little bit as that happened. So as we keep harping on, if interest rates come down anymore and they're in the 6s or 5s, you're going to see run-ups on properties like we were seeing in 2021 and part of 2022. At least that's my opinion. So yeah, just some quick news.
Thanks so much. That was great.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I'm going to add in our sales rally notes, I have a little picture kind of talking about all the pros of this market and then the con, interest rates being higher, but the list of the pros for buyers of, 3-2-1 buy downs or 2-1 buy downs and seller credits and being able to have a home inspection and not compete with a million people. There's a tremendous list that I think is great to share with everyone. So
definitely, I'll text you some of my thoughts on that too if you want to add them too, because I keep telling people there's more reasons to buy if you can afford it. Obviously, you don't want to stretch yourself thin by any means. There's more reasons to buy right now than not, and the opportunity is not going to last forever. So
yeah, whatever you have to send would be great.
Cool. Yeah, I'll shoot it over.
Sweet. Thanks so much.
And I'm gonna hop off. See you guys.
Goodbye.
Have a good day.
Thanks,
too.
Michael.
We got birthdays. Lois's was a few days ago. Gosh, I think it was 7th of November. Debbie, Vicky, Monica. Hi, Monica. Antonio, we got birthdays. So happy birthday, everybody coming up.
And Seth.
And Seth, but is Seth on here?
No, because he's.
No, we got, because we're gonna show some pictures soon.
The booth.
He's the career day, which is pretty sweet. So we'll talk about that in a few minutos. Anniversaries, Armando, Desiree, Lupita, Nicole, and Audie, which we have Audie and Nicole on here today. Happy anniversary. Wait, that's not Desiree. You know, your picture was super tiny. I thought it was a little husband and wife action there. No, you're like, absolutely not. Yeah, understandable. We love you, Russ. Sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. Cappers. Congratulations. And capped on royalty. So we got 2 different little types of cappers today. So congrats. Top 5, Sydney numero uno. Look at that. And we'll do our little claps at the end so we don't take our fun. If Emily likes the clapping in the middle, then I guess we'll just stick with it. Yeah, whatever Emily would like. So Jeff Hallman, a little over 10 million. Anna Marie, we have a little over 7 million. Me, a little over 6, and then Aaron, a little over 5 million. So, we'll do it all at one time. Congrats, everybody. And then teams, Agent 509, little over 17. Frontline, 9.5 million. Team Dolby, 7.3. Mountain Home Properties, almost 4.6. Welcome to the top 5, little board. And then Team Dolman, little over 4 million. So, yeah, congrats, everybody. And we're gonna transition a little bit. We're gonna, start doing top 5 each month, and then figure out some other, different valuable stuff to put in the sales rallies. So we'll definitely highlight that first of each month. And yeah, congrats. Good job. Kelly updated this before she left. She threw out her back and she was just making whimpering little noises, so we made her go home. Go home or go to the doctor. But anyways, so if you need Kelly today, don't need Kelly, and you could probably just call me or Russ or Marcia or somebody else instead. So, but yeah, we're up to 8.42%, which we were 7 months ago. So, yeah, 275 units, and kind of breaks down total sales, and yeah, we're doing great.
Go team.
Yes, go team. New listings, we got Melody. If you haven't seen the photos of that one yet, the sunset is amazing on that one. It's up on Edgemont. So and it's listed as Melody, but Michael and Melody, a little M&M, they're always just a little pair. So congrats to both of you for your new listing. Closings, look at those million closings.
Oh,
Holy crap.
wow, that was a
Right?
chunk.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
yeah, that's a fun month. Yeah, we got quite a few. Anna Marie got 2, Naomi had 2. Some of these had our first closings. So big stuff. So congrats, everybody. Nice little transition into winter, which we're still going to be busy during the winter. We're gonna do deals, we're gonna get listings, it's all gonna be great.
Yeah, do you have a specific slide for that thing that Lois was saying?
No, do you want to say it? Do you
Yeah,
remember the
just what Lois was talking about at our meeting this morning is so like December and January, like a lot of realtors take off, right? Because you're like, oh, I'm so tired from the big summer busy, but it's actually a time when a lot of like buyers and sellers are like thinking about doing stuff. but there's not that many realtors like being super active. So it's a really good time to jump in and get some good market share. So don't hang up the hat in December and January, keep it rolling and maybe hang up the, maybe chill out a little bit, February, March, take a little break before the busy season.
My coach had me do this, but he had me look at all of the sales from spring to fall of this year, and then the sales from fall to spring of last year, and there was only like 100-unit difference.
Yeah.
When I did a 2-hour radius around me, which is like my selling area. So it doesn't slow down as much as people think it does. There was like 500 and something closings in the winter and 600 and something in the summer. So it wasn't.
Yeah, it's not a huge.
Yeah.
Well, and most of that, I think one of the big points this morning was between December 25th and January 1st was when the majority of people decide, 31st is when the majority of people decide if they're going to be moving or buying something. So that's the time when you want to be talking with these clients, because that's when they're actually in the decision-making process
So what were
for
those
their
dates
spring and
again?
summer plans.
Christmas to the end of January.
Oh, okay.
When they come over to Leavenworth and they see all the
Yeah, they're
sparkly
thinking about
lights.
their
and
New
they
Year's
come and do
resolutions,
Snow,
like,
and they come to Mission and.
Vacation home or retire or
Yeah.
downsize, upsize, whatever.
And that's really, yeah, great to think of, because that doesn't,
Yeah.
I needed that little kick in the can.
yeah.
I was ready to take a real chill jet in December.
I was worried. I was like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? And then
We gotta get all the people. We're just gonna up the market share.
Yeah, we got more listings
Yeah, we got,
this week than, yeah, a big increase
yeah.
back on the market.
wow.
Not as many price reductions.
Wasn't expired listing.
There was a lot of expired. It was November 1st. There was Jose was pointing out there was like pretty much 30 of them. Like it was all just they list, I think they're just 6 months was done, and there was a tremendous amount on the first.
You got the
The-
exact same number of pending and closed too.
I know it's kind of funny when that happens, but yeah, so jumping on, expired or canceled, maybe give them a little bit. Don't call them the, 6 days after they cancel, and check the do not call list. So you don't get sued. And again, if you need help signing up because their website's kind of stupid, then I can help you. But yeah, be safe, but call the people so you get the listings. So doesn't it look so nice? So this is NCW College and Career Expo. So high school students, any younger generation, college, it's just a whole different options for career day. And we have Seth with his mustache. I love it. Yeah, a little bit. Estelle and Lois, so they're there till noon today, and yeah, it's just a sweet little setup. So they have, promoting our Santa photos, showing some of the different teams we have in the office. What is the average sales price of a home in Wenatchee? Any 500?
40.
What?
479.
Or you just throwing it out there? You actually
Yeah, we're
looked
just
it up?
guessing.
Okay. I think 5's too. Probably right. Yeah. Because it's average, not median, right? That always.
have the answer? We just have
The answer. We don't have the answer at all. We'll find out from Seth later. I always get tripped up between average and median every single time. So I just click average.
Wenatchee, like city Wenatchee or?
Yeah, think just, Wenatchee. So, and then what companies created more millionaires, Microsoft or Keller Williams? What do we assume the answer is? That's, yeah, which is crazy. Which you just follow the MREA book and you just become a millionaire, simple math,
Yeah, mine's not working either. Oh, there it is loaded.
Well, it's a battle. See who will pull the info first.
Average sale price,
462.
487. Are you looking at the median or the
Yeah.
average?
487 for average.
Oh,
If you're averaged over 12 months, but if you're averaged,
So
Monthly,
Luke was the
they were
closest without going over.
yeah.
Mhm.
Luke was closest.
good job, man. Good catch.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And
Give you a
little.
Yeah, for sure. Family reunion, again, if you're interested in going, but you haven't figured out going or financial stuff or anything, reach out to Lois. We can, we're trying to find ways to make sure everybody can go. Because there's a wonderful keynote speaker and Northwest region has, huh?
Family reunion.
Are you going?
I do appreciate it.
Aren't you a mastery coach?
Not anymore.
Oh, okay.
I switched.
We'll just sign up real quick. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I don't know how it works.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I switched out.
I was like, do I get a free ticket? I don't get a free ticket. So Northwest region is putting on, they were calling it Glow Fest. So let me show you a little video. If you guys haven't been to Vegas, there's a place called Area 15, which is, they have, if you've heard of Mega Mart, which is just a crazy little art exhibit. You go through this store, but everything's weird and there's hidden passages and it's just a crazy, weird, strange thing. So, we will see what this is going to be all about. It has to be sparkly and loud and neon. And they would like, if you're going to that, they definitely recommend doing the neon, all the things. And Sydney just had a great idea to where we can go and then just put a neon where our location is and what, Washington referral partner. So anyways, if you're interested, you have to buy tickets. So definitely look into that if you're going, because I'm sure Northwest region is pretty big. I mean, the space there is huge, but yeah, do that. Okay. You go to the next one or else it's going to get mad at me. So hold on 2 seconds. Okay. So I learned something new this week from Russ that knows all of the things. So if a lawyer drafts language for a contract, is the agent able to copy and paste the language into a Form 34 and be protected from litigation since the attorney drafted it?
My guess is no.
Any other guesses? Any other Zoom?
I agree.
Do we all think?
If we're no longer, we would be covered over there.
It would have to be, like, we need to upload their document, not copy paste.
Yeah.
You guys, let's see in the chat. I would also guess no. You guys are all correct. Good job. So I'm going to copy the info that Russ gave me, which is very, very insightful. So as soon as the agent copies it and pastes it, they in essence own it. That's the practicing law without a license, which is a big old no-no. So you have the attorney draft the addendum that's attached to our contract, and we can reference that and then put, a certain number of days of receiving it to agree. Good to know many have lost their licenses by committing this offense.
Oh.
So, yeah, my initial thought was like, oh, attorney drafted things, cool. Copy paste. So I'm the one that thought of it incorrectly. So thank you, Russ, and all of your, 50 years of knowledge. We really we appreciate it. Sorry, that was rude. Love you.
Real estate since you was in the womb.
Yeah, pretty much. So yes, thank you. Good stuff. ALC clinic November 30th at the Market Center. So again, ALC is made up of top 20% of whoever in there would be interested in joining. So Lois is going to be reaching out to everybody in the top 20 and see, we'll kind of explain what it is. And so if you're interested, watch out for a call from Lois. And yeah, we'll get our new ALC for 2024. Book club. Emily,
Yes.
good book.
Great book, we're already done with it. There was material that you can download from their website, and our next book club, we're gonna be going over all that material, which is like a 30-day challenge and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah,
And then I forget what our next book is.
I do as well, but we'll get that on there.
Yeah.
So next book club is coming. We will announce the book. And again, Emily just said this is a quick read, so.
Yeah, this one was a really quick read.
So read it on your own, because it's good stuff.
Or
Miracle
listen to
Morning, or yes, or listen to it. For sure, Audible is a lifesaver.
It's nice because it follows a couple of real estate agents, so it's more like a story than
Oh, that's cool.
a like.
Instructional, yeah.
It is for that, yeah.
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 Well, that'll be a nice read then. Yeah, instead of do the things.
Yeah. Another one that my coach recommended that I'm listening to right now is called The Ideal Team Player.
Yeah, deal. Oh, Yeah, sounds
And that
good.
one's also kind of, it follows a storyline, so it's
Mhm.
really easy to listen to, and it's
sweet.
good for if you're looking to hire people.
Nice. All right, so I'll bust through the rest of these because these have been, each week we've kind of gone over them, but Realtor Fun Night. So if anybody's interested,
We've got like 6 going
yeah.
from here. Russ has like 15 tickets for his people. Apparently they sold out and they had to like create a new table. So there are a couple tickets left if anybody wants to go.
Yeah.
Jump on them. Yeah, you wanna go? Get your ticket, cause
It's
they
already
sold
next
out and they had to do a
Thursday?
new table. So buy them now, Emily.
Buy them yesterday.
Buy them yesterday.
Yeah. That's a week away.
Yeah, we just.
Dang. Oh, November is just going.
Fun.
Yes, it should be, well, it should be, it will be.
Yeah.
Very fun and good food, because I'm the food person, for sure. Italian buffet, overlooking, yeah, if you haven't been to the winery, great winery, and supports kids. So, good stuff. Our holiday party and White Elephant gift exchange, it's now no longer a potluck. So we're gonna have catered, delicious, great food.
I have the CAD schedule started, so if you know your availability, let me know for when you wanna be here.
To set up for our Santa photos.
Yeah.
Which again, I do have a Santa photos flyer. We'll attach to the sales rally notes. I'm gonna print some more copies in the back. Estelle is wonderful and made a copy in Spanish. So if you want to pick those up, great for door knocking or putting them, different spots in the community, then that would be great. So yeah, excited for that. Michael's gone. Thank you, Michael. So November calendar. Again, all our usual, weekly, bi-weekly classes. This week is going to be, today for contract class. So going over inspection, a bunch of different forms, weekly examples, Marcia's usual grind. And again, it's not going to be we're not going to end this link. It's just going to go straight into contracts class. And then I'm going over tomorrow, command document upload, compliance, splitting PDFs, all the different ways you can do it. Sydney taught me how to do it in DocuSign, so that's exciting. And I did send out an email probably like a week, 2 weeks ago now. So you have videos to reference back to. So if you're interested or have any weird questions or things that have come up, let me know. So again, contracts class, NMA New Toe, and brokers tour. So go check out Melanie's listing. If she's having brokers tour tomorrow, be great to support her. So that's all I got, unless we got any Zoomer people comments, any hellos. Hi, everybody. Hi, goodbye.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Contract class. Hey, guys.
All right, see you in a second once we do our little transition. Annette, do you have your sweet little puppy? Do you have her? Oh, I want to see your little puppy.
So you're on
Oh, oh, look at Annette's new puppy, everybody. Oh, she's so cute. Oh,
What's his
I-
name?
what's her name? Bucket. Bucket. It's so cute. Anyways, bucket.
Bucket?
Oh, I love it so much. Thank you for letting us see her, because
No
it's like
problem.
the favorite part of my day right now. So I appreciate it. Oh, she's gonna be such a good girl. You can already tell.
She is a pretty good girl.
Yeah. Let me sign in and we'll do a Marcia transition. And then I need to go check on my dog before I come back later today. Yeah, and she's probably, God, she's the laziest dog in the world at 6. I swear, even when we're home, then I will like, so I like threw a toy down the hall and she's like, oh yeah, goes and gets it.
Yeah.
Comes back, throw it again.
Okay.
Goes, has a snack. Like I think the most I've been able to throw her toy is 3 times, and then she goes and gets a snack. And she's not like fat, you know, she just really likes her food and not playing as much.
She's food motivated, not toy motivated.
She very, very much
Okay, I'm
is.
officially signed up for Realtor Fun Night.
Yay.
My listing, they keep pushing back. I was supposed to list it Friday, but we couldn't get good photos in time because of the weather. So then we were gonna list it today. And then last night, they're like, we don't want it to sit on the market that long. So now they wanna list Friday morning and do an offer review date Monday morning. Okay, is it gonna be a hot price? I think so. 715. No, East Wenatchee. Okay. 4,000 square feet, 4 bedroom, 3.25 bath. I got it. Yeah, they got rid of the cabinets over there. They switched this because the fridge was over there when they moved in, so they put the cabinet there and then, yes.
Marcia, you don't like your video on, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And then also I want to chat with you soon because I am going to Mexico
Nice.
in December for almost 2 weeks. And it's around the same time Sydney's going right in the middle, so she could cover like 2 days in the beginning, and maybe 2 at the end. But I'm trying to figure out my, go-to.
Where they call it.
Yeah.
So we are leaving about the 7th. And we will be back after the 1st of the year. So, but I'm available by phone.
Okay.
And there's only 5 days in there that I need to have somebody cover. That's when all my kids are together and I just don't want to think about it.
Yeah, I'm gone the 4th through the 13th. She's gone the 6th through the.
Stella is gonna
10th.
tag team with her on
And then
Saturday.
Paul's
Later.
gone at the same time. I could probably help
And then I'm
you,
gonna
just
do
my
that.
husband's a very sensitive man when it comes to us spending time together. So.
Absolutely.
Marcia's gonna be gone the same time too, Sydney.
Oh my goodness, what are we gonna do?
Well,
I'm good through by phone during that time until the 18th to the 22nd.
oh, I'll be back the 18th to 27th. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd hate for you to be on the phone the whole time.
Oh, no, but I mean, we'll be driving.
Oh, gotcha. Where are you
Yeah.
going?
We're going to Monterey.
Oh,
All of our kids rented a big house and
That's great.
and it'll be,
There's a Thomas Kincaid gallery there.
oh, I know, I love that gallery.
So cool.
You know, I felt so bad for him and his brand because that was the only way you could buy it.
Yeah.
And then they started showing up everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, if I had invested in that, I would have been really angry.
and you heard like Bob Ross too, right? They started teaching courses on how to paint like Bob Ross, and then all these people were impersonating his artwork and like just selling it as fakes. And there's
a whole documentary on, yeah, they would, yeah, but it's on Netflix of like how screwed over he was.
Okay, so before you walk out, Annette, I can see you. Can you hear me? Yes, perfect.
The speaker thing is working, as long as your USB cord stays plugged in.
Yep, I got it right here.
Yeah, and if they can't hear you, if they put it in the chat, then that's wonderful.
Okay, so let's get started. And today I wanted to talk about you have a cash buyer and they're getting their funds from a life insurance policy. So what form do you use? Sorry, it's already up there. What form do you use and how do you say it?
They're using what? Life insurance?
Yes, it's a life insurance policy and it's in the process of being delivered. So it is
It's still contingent.
exactly.
So disclosure of contingent funds.
Right.
And other.
Yep. Emily just said what the answer was. Oh, I don't know. I can't just, there we go. And it was the first time in 12 years I'd ever come across that. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So the way that we ended up was that we said, use the form 22EF, number 3, they're contingent. You have to wait for them. Life insurance policy or payout with Hartford Insurance expected to arrive within 14 days. It's really important that you update the ones right here. I actually recommended that you say 21 days. It is a cash sale. It's a 30-day close, but how many times have insurance companies not gotten money to you when you were supposed to?
But isn't this one, isn't it prior to closing? So that's 14 days before closing.
Mhm.
So if you do 21, then you have to submit it 21 days before
Yes.
closing.
Yes.
But if you don't have it from the insurance yet, then you wouldn't be able to.
Oh, then we'd have one or two choices. Then we just need to do a 34 to extend the days or extend the closing. But the money part of it, it is still cash, but it comes under the contingent. I thought that was a little different. I hadn't seen that in all my years. I just want to touch on this quickly. When we get a counteroffer from another brokerage and it isn't correct, then what is it that we need to do? When we get a counteroffer and
Correct it, initial the corrections and have them initial the correction.
okay, so you get an offer or you place an offer and they send you back an offer and it isn't filled out right. I go back to my Valentine example. I'm sending this to, I'm representing buyer or seller, but I'm sending it to, and that's who goes on line 3. And then this is from, so it's just like a Valentine's card. I'm going to send it to you. That's line 3. And it's from me, line 4, and who we represent. As always, so the answer to that is you fill out a new form 36 and you put it in correctly.
Okay, so you just scratch theirs, redo it, and then have them sign yours.
Yes, yes.
Would that be, so are we countering then at that point?
If see what you're doing then is what are the things that you're going to counter? Are you going to come back as the same price, okay? Or are there other things in here that we need to say? So we always want to remember, bring forward everything in their dialogue portion, that other portion that your clients agree with. And if there's anything else, then you add it to that. It needs to be a brand new
So if you
counter offer.
receive this
Yes.
and they've got the top part filled out wrong, but everything else is agreed upon, you still want us to do a whole new form and have them sign it? Cause I thought that would be basically us putting a counter back in their hand and they can walk away at that point.
In
Where
that
this one is already signed by them.
this this is, we just get so many, and if there's any changes, then we need to do a new form. We can correct it up here. I've seen a lot of them just submitted to escrow this way, if it was incorrect. But if you do that, then you have to get initials for everybody in the changes. If the
Right.
only thing is who it's sent to and from.
Then you can just cross that out.
Yeah.
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 I'd just be worried about redoing this form and then sending it without the signatures, because then it's us countering and not us accepting their counter.
Yeah. And I have seen, the reason this came up was, one of our brokers correctly filled out their counter form. And then, and it was so neat because at the end of it, they had two things. And at the end of it, they put on the next line end. And so the other broker just typed in something.
Oh,
Yes. So it,
and didn't initial it or show that it
no,
was-
or that it was additional or different or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that isn't cool. So just remember also that if you are representing the buyer, then this is the verbiage. If you're representing the seller, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. If you're representing the seller and you're doing it back to the buyer, this is your statement.
Okay, so we need to write that in.
Uh,
We need to write that in.
yes. And then if you are representing the buyer and you're countering back, then especially if, so this would be like Form 36, number 2, especially, in the original purchase and sale agreement body and seller counter offer. So that kind of clarifies that you're, as represented buyer, you're number 2. I would say we have a very high level of professionalism in our office and the contracts that I'm seeing. I do make comments, and you have to remember that each broker is an independent business owner. And basically, we don't tell you you've done it wrong, but we do highly recommend, and we'll tell you why. So this is your business, but we want you to be able to protect yourself the best that you can. And this verbiage right here is from our corporate attorney.
And yeah, it seems redundant because that's the whole point of the counteroffer, is to supersede any other terms
Mhm.
that are addressed, but
Yeah.
I guess you just can't be too clear.
Tim up north had a broker that not only added to their counter, and like Tim's item number 2 had to do with something that the seller was going to do. And then the added statement by the other broker was completely different. It was the same topic, but it was very different how it was done. So in that counteroffer, you had huge conflicting things. So just really be careful about that and make sure you bring forward everything that they have that your client will agree with, and then anything different. Form 35. If we have a 35R and we ask for additional days, when do we want to submit that Form 35?
At the very end of our inspection contingency period, so we have the most amount of days.
Exactly. Yeah. So we all concur. We want to submit that Form 35R at the end of our contingency period so that we don't lose any days. Typically, unless it's stipulated otherwise, how long what are the timeframes? Okay, so here it is. Today's the 7th. And it's the last day of inspection. So I'm going to submit a 35R requesting another 5 days. Do I do that continuous, or is that business?
Business.
Yeah.
Yeah, business.
So it'd be the 14th.
Welcome back.
Pictures look great. Yeah. Did you like them?
Yeah, so the 14th.
Yes. So we would need to count anything 5 days or less, just like our contract, then we don't count the weekends or the holidays. And let me see, other thing, I told Tim, I said, I feel so sorry for you because this must be a brand new broker that knows nothing. So they came back and they said, you have not correctly calculated your days. So I said, let me just send you something that you can forward on and advise them to please speak with your designated broker or your managing broker on this. Did you want to? Oh, good. All right. So in the response form, if we check this that we want 5 days and we want to go to the very last day possible. And remember, when we give this notice, that this is just one signature is required. Both buyers don't have to sign. It only needs, whoops, no, I'm sorry. On this one, it needs both. Down here, no. No, this is a form that only requires one buyer or one seller's signature. So that makes it nice because you're giving notice and now you automatically, whatever in your 35, how many days you stipulated, then that's how many days you have. Okay. So now you're asking for additional time and you have an additional inspection and now you're ready to come back with your 35R with your inspection response. What do you do? I mean, you've already used up part 1 here. If you want to request repairs or modifications.
You do a new form.
You do a new form. That's correct. And then you can choose everything but the additional inspection. You only get that card one time. And you can also down here, if you do the following modifications, then you can insert like a form 34, C form 34. And then the seller can agree, offer to only fix these, rejects all the proposals, or but proposes these alternatives. So there's only certain 3 things that they can do. Then, and we're going to get to this in one of the hotline questions. The hotline question was, okay, we got to this point and the seller has responded with, this is what we'll do. And the question literally was, well, if I ask for more or additional modifications at this point right here, after they've responded what they're going to do, then that's what the hotline question is going to be. And we're going to come back and talk to that. Really talk about allowing yourself plenty of time. You know, if you know your inspectors, and it's always good if you haven't used them, just to call and say, hey, I have an offer that I may be doing. What's your response time? And if they say, oh, if you let me know, I usually can do it within a week, then you can kind of tailor it. In the summertime, when it's a little busier, then we need to make sure we allow plenty of time.
How much time do you usually, what's common?
The 10 days around Wenatchee in Chelan, it never can get done in 10 days. It very rarely can get done in 10 days by the time they can, unless what we do is we call in advance and say, we got an offer that it looks like it's going to be closed. Do you have anything in the next? And then we deal with a lot with Randy Hayward, and he's so great about being able to do this.
So you call and ask them while you're writing the deal, basically.
Yeah. And when we're writing that deal and we've submitted it, then if we think that there's going to be mutual fairly soon, then that's when we call them and we say, can we schedule that? And he's been really good.
My inspector here, like Wenatchee and Leavenworth, he'll just like hold an appointment for us, even if we just have an offer. And then like if it's a multiple offer situation, I can tell the agent, we've got it scheduled for tomorrow. So if you accept our offer, we're right there, getting it
Mhm.
done, which is pretty nice.
That's
of him.
awesome.
Kyle's really accommodating.
Yeah. So Sydney's inspector, Kyle, will set an appointment when they're writing the offer, and then she'll tell the other broker that if you accept this offer, we're gonna have inspection tomorrow or the next day. And that's pretty nice. 5 days is pretty typical for additional time. A lot of brokers do not fill that in. And then this is the part I want to go over. Okay, so we have 5 days to be able to extend the inspection contingency. So now we're gonna turn in our 35R. The seller has 3 days, if that hasn't been changed, to be able to do those 3 things. And then from their response, and this is back up on the 35R, if they respond here, they have 3 days to respond. And then the buyer has that same amount of time. And then what I really wanted to talk about was, and it's also in the hotline, so we'll talk about it a little bit more, about what happens if they don't. I've had that last week twice where the sellers did not respond. And in that instance, it's purely up to the buyer. Do you want to continue to closing, or this is your opportunity to terminate? The buyer's inaction during the buyer's reply period shall result in a waiver of this inspection condition, in which case the seller shall not be obligated to make any repairs or modification. So it's really important that we keep that up and keep our eye on the ball on that. Okay. So I want to go to this one. Okay. I just thought this was a question that was kind of funny. Not funny, but so they had a listing, the house burned to the ground. Underneath all the ashes is a foundation. Is this a vacant land? And the answer is yes. The land is not improved. Yes,
When they had a new fire up there,
yeah,
people had vacant land they were selling because their house had burned down.
yeah. And it just changed everything. The only exception to that is if this, well, they wouldn't have it listed if the seller was going to take the insurance money and rebuild. And that's why it is our best practice that we always include 22VV homeowners insurance. During that fire, we did have one house burned to the ground. Guy didn't have it insured. And he had the mortgage. So that's really important every single time. This right here is, I think this is the wrong form. We don't have a 42C. And 41C is the closest that I could come to it. Now in January, they may have a 42C, but I think it's very similar to that one. And it says, the question was, can you explain what situation this form should be utilized in? Now, I have a copy of 41C, and it's that one that on 17 or 18, depending on what type of PSA it is, that it's the buyer brokerage compensation. And you're either going to accept it or you're going to have something like this that's going to say, how do you as a buyer broker get paid? Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay, so that's why I really think it's a 41C. So after the first of the year, if the broker is assisting parties with a transaction that is written on forms other than a statewide form, I don't know of any example that we would ever encounter that, but you have to put in this extra form so that you can get paid. And then after January 1st, the buyer broker must disclose in the purchase and sale agreement any compensation offered by the seller or the listing firm to the buyer broker firm. So this is one of the forms that after the first of the year, that in those situations that as it will be required. And then if the listing firm is offering compensation, every once in a while, we'll see something where they'll, in the buyer broker remarks, you see where they offer an additional 1,000 or 2,000 compensation and everything. Then the compensation offered by the listing firm must be disclosed to the buyer in the purchase and sale agreement. And so that just keeps it all above board. I really liked today, Sydney, what you went over when you were talking about your 72 what sold, 72 sold. That if we look at this purely, and if you think about it, what is a real estate broker if they are not a consumer specialist? I mean, to me, I just think that is so easy to explain, because that's what we're concerned about. So we're in our full disclosure to everybody, then anyways, that I really like that I've always felt like I'm protecting my client. Okay, one more on this. The buyer submits a 35R with section 3 and box 3 completed. Seller fails to respond. Buyer wants to disapprove the inspection and terminate the contract while still in the buyer reply period deadline. Does the buyer initiate a second Form 35R to do this? And if so, do they terminate via action 1 or 3, or does the buyer initiate a 34 to terminate? In other words, what's the correct way to terminate during the inspection contingency when the 35R section 3 has already been used?
Isn't it in the
And this starts out, the seller,
Section 3, box 3.
yeah, if you come back and you propose something different,
Okay, yeah, so seller fails to respond.
yes. So buyer brokers should access a clean 35R and using section 3. Now, this was something I didn't know. Using section part 3 of Form 35R, mark the box to terminate the transaction. And so I can't even remember having to deal with that. Yeah, brokers should ensure that all blanks are completed in the preamble to the form so that clearly references the buyer, the seller, the property, and the PSA to which it pertains. So that's all that top part. We don't have any issues with that. Our brokers are very thorough. Okay, this form must be timely and properly delivered and will serve to terminate the PSA based on the buyer's inspection. The buyer should also deliver Form 50 designating return of the earnest money to the buyer. So there is that circumstance if you go and you ask for more after they've given you their solution, the seller then is not obligated to anything because nothing is agreed to. Okay. This is the one I was talking about. I wanted to come back to. We received the seller's counter offer, item 2, part 2, in regard to the items that they were willing to perform. The buyer would like to try to, they should put here renegotiate, negotiate something additional, but would also like to keep the seller's offer on the table. it just isn't possible. If you want to redo and add more stuff to it, what can the seller do?
Resubmit their response if you can verbally agree to changes.
If you can verbally agree to the changes, then you can make it like on a new Form
Yeah.
35R in that. But if I check box 3, the buyer rejects the seller's response, but offers the attached alternative proposal, and have the buyer sign, then send to the seller's agent the addendum with the different repair terms. Does this mean I cannot go back and resubmit Form 35R with either of the other 2 options checked later? This person is going back to the well more than once, and that's so distasteful on the seller side. I mean, it just, but I thought it was an interesting question. Okay, would my submission of the 35R with a 3rd box check eliminate the possibility of going back and buyer checking the box 1 later, accepting the seller's response? If the buyer marks reject on a box in section 3 and offers a counter proposal, seller will be relieved of any obligation to comply with the seller's original offer. Buyer's counter offer serves as a rejection of the seller's offer, and when an offer is rejected, the offer is void, just like your counter offer. I mean, just going back and forth. If buyer wants seller to do the work proposed, buyer runs the risk the seller will refuse to additional work and offered work if the buyer's counter seller offer. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, I wanted to review that we have those options. I went through this with Julie, with one of her team members, and it was so fortunate because the brokers were able to verbally get all around this and get this all settled. And then they had a clear direction. And that's what we want. And we want it, and we just need to be mindful of the time. Any comments on that? I think that was the last one. And that is the last one, and that is it. All right. Short and sweet. Thank you guys for being here and supporting. Everybody in Zoom. Let me just see who is still here. All right. Annette, thanks for hanging in. Desiree. Let me say that again, Desiree. Chris. And goodbye, Tom. All right.